This week, motorists all over the United Kingdom are noticing changes that will directly affect the way they drive, manage their licenses, and even purchase vehicles in the future. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, better known as the DVLA, has introduced a set of updates that are being rolled out step by step. These updates are not about scaring drivers or threatening them, but about reshaping how driving is regulated in a more digital, environmentally focused, and technology-driven era. Welcome to Pensioners Corner, the place where we break down complex updates in plain language. Our goal is to keep you informed and prepared without unnecessary worry. Today, we're looking closely at 3 key changes from the DVLA that are worth your attention: the gradual move toward digital driving licenses, the wider expansion of clean air zones across UK cities, and the introduction of new technology in every brand new car sold from now on. Let's walk through each of these carefully. The first major change involves driving licenses themselves. For decades, drivers in Britain have relied on a physical plastic license, usually tucked safely in a wallet or purse. It was something you could carry, show when asked, and keep as proof of your right to drive. Now, the DVLA is moving toward replacing that plastic card with a fully digital version, available through an online system. At first glance, this might sound like a step into the future, bringing more convenience and efficiency. You no longer need to worry about a card getting lost, stolen, or damaged. Instead, you'll be able to log into an app or a secure website to prove your identity and license status. But this shift also raises important points to consider. Not every driver is comfortable with technology, especially older drivers who may not use smartphones regularly. Imagine being stopped by a police officer and needing to prove your license status with your phone. If the battery is flat, or if you don't have mobile signal, it could create unnecessary stress. For many drivers, especially pensioners, relying on digital-only systems feels more challenging than carrying a simple card. Another area of discussion is data security. Whenever information is stored digitally, there is always a risk that accounts could be accessed by the wrong person. While the DVLA has security systems in place, drivers must remain cautious and ensure they keep their accounts protected with strong passwords. This change also represents a shift in how we think about ownership. A physical license is something tangible that you can keep. A digital one is something you access, almost like a service, and it depends on systems working correctly. These are small but important changes in how drivers experience everyday motoring. Moving on to the second change, the expansion of clean air zones, also known as CAZ. These zones are designed to reduce air pollution in busy city centers by charging vehicles that do not meet modern emission standards. The idea is to encourage cleaner air and healthier environments in places where traffic is heavy. At present, clean air zones are already operating in places like London, Birmingham, Bristol, and Glasgow. More towns and cities are joining this list, meaning that more drivers will need to pay attention before setting off on a journey. The system works automatically through cameras, checking number plates against databases. If your vehicle does not meet the required emission standard, you are charged a daily fee to drive into the zone. For those with newer electric or ultra-low emission vehicles, these rules may not make much difference. But for many people driving older petrol or diesel cars, the costs can add up quickly. Even if your car is legal, roadworthy, and safe, you may still face charges depending on where you drive. It is also worth noting that some drivers have reported mistakes where the cars were incorrectly flagged as non-compliant. Resolving these errors can take time, which can be frustrating if you rely on your car every day. The best advice is to always check your vehicle's compliance using the official DVLA online checker before entering a clean air zone. This change highlights how mobility is becoming more conditional. The ability to drive into certain parts of a city is now linked not only to having a license and paying insurance, but also to owning a certain type of vehicle. For those unable to afford an upgrade, these new charges may feel like an extra burden. Clean air is important for everyone, but the way this system is rolled out is something drivers must prepare for. The third change is about new cars being sold in the UK from July 2024 onwards. Every brand new vehicle now has to include specific technologies, intelligent speed assistance, often shortened to ISA, and event data recorders, also known as EDRs or black boxes. Let's start with ISA. This system works by monitoring your car's speed against local speed limits. If you go over the limit, it can alert you and even restrict your speed automatically. The aim is to reduce speeding and prevent accidents. However, drivers need to be aware that the system is not perfect. For example, if a temporary speed limit sign is misread, the car may react in a way that feels unexpected. In situations where quick acceleration is needed for safety, drivers may feel the car is holding them back. The second technology, the EDR, records detailed data about how a car is being driven. This includes information such as speed, braking patterns, and steering actions. If an accident occurs, this data can be reviewed by investigators or insurers. Supporters say this will make it easier to establish facts in the event of a crash. However, there are also concerns about privacy and how this data could be used in the future. For example, could insurance companies use the data to adjust premiums based on small driving habits? Could sudden braking be seen as reckless rather than cautious? These are questions drivers are asking as the technology becomes mandatory. Unlike optional extras, these systems are now built into every new car, and opting out is not possible. Taken together, the digital license, the expansion of clean air zones, and the introduction of new in-car technologies show a clear trend. Driving in the UK is becoming more connected, more regulated, and more dependent on technology. For many, this represents progress, aiming for safer roads and cleaner air. For others, it feels like a loss of personal freedom and privacy. So what should drivers do now? The best approach is to stay informed. Make sure you are registered with the DVLA's online services so that you can access your digital license smoothly when it becomes necessary. If you are planning to drive into a city with a clean air zone, use the online compliance checker to avoid unexpected charges. And if you are thinking about buying a new car, take the time to understand the technology it comes with, including how ISA and EDR work. The reality is that these changes are not designed to catch people out but to move the driving system in a new direction. However, if you are unaware of them, you may face avoidable difficulties. By taking small steps now, you can adapt more easily and continue driving with confidence. At Pensioners Corner, we always encourage viewers not to panic about new regulations but to understand them clearly. Information is the best tool a driver can have. The DVLA's role is evolving from simply sending reminders about tax discs and licenses to managing a much broader digital and environmental framework. Driving in the UK is no longer just about sitting behind the wheel. It is about staying up to date with digital accounts, environmental charges, and built-in technologies. For pensioners, working families, and younger drivers alike, the road ahead looks more complex. But with preparation, everyone can navigate these changes more smoothly. As these updates continue to unfold, remember that adaptation takes time. Many drivers felt uncertain when paper tax discs were replaced by digital systems, but over time, it became part of everyday motoring. The same will likely happen with digital licenses and new car technologies. Clean air zones will also become part of normal driving planning, much like paying tolls or congestion charges today. To close, here's the key message: don't be alarmed by these updates, but don't ignore them either. Stay informed, use the tools provided by the DVLA, and take time to understand how the rules apply to you. That way, you'll avoid unnecessary fines, confusion, or stress. Thank you for spending time with us today at Pensioners Corner. If this video helped you understand the recent DVLA changes, consider subscribing to our channel. We share updates that matter to drivers in clear, honest language, no confusion, no exaggeration. Until next time, stay safe on the road, stay informed, and drive with confidence.